Okay. I like it. Okay. All right. So don't worry, mister. You'll get your war. What? I don't want to hear it. I know I keep saying I'm going to do franchise wars and then not doing it. Get off my back about it. Ah! What the hell, man? Why are you throwing shit at me? Ooh, a camera. Yes, I'll shut up and make the video now. Hey friends, I'm Cammy and this is Franchise Wars. The rules are simple. I draw from this bag a tag with the name of the film franchise on it. Then, in 4 days or less, I attempt to watch the entire franchise of films and document the journey. But there are some rules. The franchise must consist of at least 5 films to be considered and be a cohesive series, so no MCU. That also means series with spin-offs are largely excluded, so no Mummy, but yes, Scorpion King. I won't be including television shows or generally episodic media, so as great as Ash vs. Evil Dead may be, there are only 4 films. Speaking of versus, I will also not be including team-up and crossover films, so no Alien vs. Predator, Freddy vs. Jason, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, or Ginger Dead Man vs. Evil Bong. Yes, that last one is a real thing. I'll also not be considering sequel and name only films, so sorry all you Marine stans out there. There are other rules, but you didn't come here to see me list rules, you came here to see me watch movies and go slowly insane. At the end, I will rate the franchise in a number of categories and see how it fares on the battlefield. Let's see what's up first. Beach Party? Really? We're going to lead with that? Because that's what the kids want to see. A 60-year-old film craze that came and went in less time than it'll take to make this video. That's how you win YouTube. Okay, fine, let's do it.
Now the show starts, movies.
So I like to go into these viewings as blind as possible and learn as little as I can before getting underway. That way we can go on as pure and experienced journey as possible. These movies are a good example of researching more than I wanted to in the process of preparing the video, because figuring out what is and is not part of this series is way harder than it has any need to be. So what did I know about Beach Party? Almost nothing, like the fact it existed at all. I had heard of Annette Funicello and Frankie What's-His-Name, and as a kid I'd heard the title Beach Blanket Bingo, but I thought it was a sex thing, which it might be, I don't know, I'm not going to look it up. According to Wikipedia, there are 13 of these. Well, in this series, there are literally dozens of 1960s beach movies aping the formula. After doing a little digging, I learned the lead actors don't appear in all the movies, and in some they play different characters, though some have the same side characters appearing in films with the lead actors playing different characters. Well, it's a mess, and from what I can tell, it's barely a series. So I did a bit more digging, which is way more research than I want to put into these episodes in the future, and found 5 of the movies have the same main characters. I also found a tangential sequel, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, with the marquee purged of pseudo-sequels, we are clear to continue. I am not looking forward to this. It took me a little while to understand what had happened. The journey had been one of fugue, insanity, and song. A journey that fractured my very being. A journey that culminated in Pee Wee Herman singing Surfin' Bird. Beach Party is a franchise that exists in a kind of dream state reality. A dream of the beach. A place where time and reason are meaningless. The beach has always been, and the beach will always be.
Nothing is greater than the sand serpents out there. Unwrap their boards just as soon as we get there. Stack them in the sand while they're breaking just right. Yeah, we're tonight.
My journey began at 7:30 at night on day one. I thought I would have a 90-minute romp of mindless teen fun, and Beach Party is that, but it's also something different. This is the only film in the franchise that has anything that could be described as a plot. Two college kids, played by Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon, take a beach holiday. But Dee Dee, played by Funicello, gets cold feet about the time alone with Frankie Avalon's creatively named Frankie, and unknown to him, invites a whole bunch of their friends along. They fight, and then the remainder of the film is the two of them trying to make each other jealous until they eventually get back together at the end. Spoilers. During this time, Dee Dee gets involved with Pig Bristles, a middle-aged anthropologist who's studying the kids on the beach as if they're some kind of primitive tribe, which, in his defense, they kind of are.
My secret surfing spot, where only I know the Grammys and the Hooters never go. Never go. I said the Grammys and the Hooters never go.
The beach is also plagued by a motorcycle gang called the Rat Pack, led by Eric Von Zipper. But don't worry about them.
You stupid.
Pig Bristles, and yes, he has a name, but fuck if I can remember what it is, has this strange kind of magical martial arts power that allows him to stun people with the touch of a finger. At one point, he's also accused of hypnotizing Dee Dee with his beard, which isn't a power I think he actually has, but I honestly can't say with any kind of certainty.
You're brainwashing her with your beard.
I cannot overstate how much it doesn't matter. I went to bed that night with a strange feeling I couldn't quite identify. I woke the next morning having shaking the strange feeling from the night before. A big cup of coffee, and I was ready for my first of two planned double features. This time, the two films from 1964, Muscle Beach Party and Bikini Beach.
Yeah, Easter vacation just started today now.
We might stay till the middle of May now.
Grab your boys and follow us. Surfers holiday. Come along, a surfers holiday.
When I started all these films, I expected one actual movie and then just a slew of blatant rehashing, the same film over and over again. But that wasn't really what I got. Not really. The second film was certainly derivative, but it offers us a pair of, I guess we can call them plot lines. One about a group of bodybuilders led by Don Rickles trying to take over the beach.
Him? Him what? Frankie! Deadhead! Help! Help!
And the other about an Italian countess who has a thing for Frankie, and she's rich, and it all really doesn't matter.
Yeah, what
Then there's a guy who runs a retirement community who wants to drive the kids off the beach so he can expand the retirement center. Oh wait, that was a different movie.
We're gonna go to Bikini Beach. That's it. That's right.
That's where the fun is at.
That's it. That's right. All the chicks are bikini clad.
To say these movies blend into each other is an understatement. Plotlines and characters come and go with no warning or logic, and any real effort at story arc is barely attempted. The initial setup of the third film is the conflict with the retirement community.
Oh, you got the old folks home down by the beach.
Siesta by the Sea is a resort for senior citizens, and your irresponsible behavior has been an eyesore to and a blemish on that fine community, and I intend to do something about it.
Which is completely resolved and forgotten by the middle of the movie, so the film can become a drag racing movie.
They call that drag racing? I don't see them dragging nothing.
Frankie Avalon plays a dual role of Frankie and a John Lennon parody named Potato Bug.
There now, that ought to be sufficient. I'm really not one of my fans, you know.
They have a rivalry over the affection of Dee Dee and have a drag race to settle it.
Congratulations, and I'd like to challenge you.
You Josh, I wouldn't if I were you.
I mean it.
Good show. Like that sort of...
I'm not making this up. Did I mention these are also musicals?
Treat him nicely. That's what you should do.
Don Rickles is back as a different character, except they devote dialogue to explaining that he's the same character, but he changed his name. Not why, just that he did. Also, Von Zipper and the Rat Pack are back for this one, but as I said, nothing matters and nothing is real.
You stupid.
Von Zipper now has the magic finger technique from pig bristles back in the first movie, though he repeatedly uses on it himself by mistake.
Push it and The boss did it again. He gave himself the finger.
These movies are nonsense. As the day wore on, I felt a strange disconnection. Little seemed real, and I felt the draw of the rhythm of the sea. I decided it might not be bad to visit a beach of my very own, decompress and let the worries wash away in the surf. But then I remembered I don't own a bikini. And then I remembered I don't have a driver's license, and I knew my girlfriend wouldn't want to make a 45-minute drive just to do a bit for a YouTube video. And then I remembered it's January, and frigid Atlantic water might be a bad idea. Besides, the beaches are overrun by 40-year-old teenage motorcycle hooligans. So I decided to recreate a little bit of the beach myself. I might not be able to bring myself to the beach, but I could bring the beach to me, the same way the movies brought it to a Burbank film studio. But then I remembered I don't have a green screen, so I did the best with what I had available. The hell? Waves? Like surfing? How could you get it this wrong? Whatever, let's just move on to the next part. The runtime on a beach party film is somewhere between 90 minutes and 12 days. And the songs, they get inside your head and crawl around in there, looking for all the gnarliest rips to curl like some hot doggy little riff until nothing remains but the beach. I dream of the beach. The beach is me, and I am the beach. Blanket bingo. This is the movie most people seem to know, probably because the title sounds like a sex thing. Anyway, it's pure nonsense. Also, Buster Keaton is in this for some reason. Like, wait, what? He's just Don Rickles' helper.
That's Buster, my helper, and Bobby, his helper.
Also, Don Rickles is in this again, and he might be the same character as before, and he might not, because who knows what's real anymore. These movies make so little sense that one of the main characters, Johnny, Frankie's best friend,
Him! Help! Help!
though he was named Ken in one of the movies, he isn't in this movie, but the actor who played him has a prominent role as Steve, a skydiving instructor. There's probably a plot, but maybe not. Something about skydiving and there's a music producer or something. Oh, then the singer Sugar Cane is kidnapped by a murderous pool shark named South Dakota Slim and strapped to a log in a sawmill like in Perils of Pauline.
You know, the name of this game is murder, boobies. Oh, this is gonna be good. I've seen this in my favorite picture, The Perils of Pauline.
Which they reference a number of times. Deadhead falls in love with a mermaid because why not? Life is meaningless.
And the 36, 22, 36, that's how you serve a wild bikini.
Buster Keaton is a witch doctor.
Sorry, it was on house call.
Frankie Avalon turns into a pelican and teleports from Tahiti to Malibu.
Why are you always hanging around anyway?
Because I love you.
A cartoon bikini walks around on the beach and then magically turns into a girl.
By George, I think she's got it.
I truly don't know what is real anymore.
Hey, stupid.
The Rats do a beach blanket bingo. Beach blanket, bingo. Keep it together, girl. Right, so the rats try to fix a motorcycle race put on by Mickey Rooney. And Rooney, he's working for this guy who's a really big deal. We know this because his name is literally Big Deal. Oh, shit, I didn't talk about the surfing monkey. That was like 13 movies ago, I think. Or maybe this movie. It doesn't matter. It's too late. We've moved past that. Annette Funicello hides a pregnancy belly behind a bucket of chicken.
It's good chicken. Fried it myself. Me and the Colonel.
And wears a pantsuit. On the beach. Beach. Beach blanket. Bingo. Beach blanket. Bingo. Beach blanket. Bingo. Beach blanket. Bingo. That's the name of the game. Oh, it's tomorrow.
It's a long hot summer and the heat's so real. Get your girl or your guy, whatever you feel. Hey, we're gonna hit the beach today.
In the late 80s and early 90s, there was a resurgence of interest in the early 60s beach scene. The Beach Boys made a new record. Frankie and Annette were on an episode of Full House. Presumably other things happened too. I don't know. I was a small child. What do you expect of me?
Excuse me, are you Annette Funny Jello?
Something like that.
So anyway, Aunt Becky plays Frankie and Annette's daughter in a 1987 pseudo-sequel. I say pseudo-sequel not only because pseudo-sequel is fun to say, but also because this one isn't a sequel. But it also is. The filmmakers are different, with it being 25 years later and all, but the nostalgia is strong, and the only difference is that Frankie and Annette don't play Frankie and Dee Dee. Frankie and Annette play Frankie and Annette. See how it's different? Because it isn't. If you're thinking that a nostalgia sequel made decades later will be any more coherent or sensical, you would be wrong. This movie is every bit as much nonsense as the previous films. Well, mostly. There's a plot, sort of, about as much as the first film. Frankie and Annette are middle-aged now, with children, and they're bored with the late 80s complacency of middle America. When they visit Aunt Becky in Malibu, or I mean, their daughter, who probably has a name, they get up to their old shenanigans on the beach. Blanket. Bingo. What's happening?
Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. Well, the bird is a bird. Well, the bird, 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 bird. The bird is a word. Well, the bird, bird. The bird is a word. Well, the bird, bird, bird. Well, the bird is a word. Bird, bird, bird is a word. Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is the word. Surfing bird.
I must bikini! I must beach! Nothing is greater than the sand, surf, and salt air. Unrack our boards just as soon as we get there. Stack 'em in the sand when it's breaking alright. We're surfing all day. We're swinging all night. Vacation's here. It's beach party tonight. These movies broke me. I didn't expect this to happen so early in franchise wars. I really thought over-binging franchises would take longer to wear down my mental fortitude. I was not prepared for Beach Party. I will not be so complacent in the future. This is war, after all. Now that my head's cleared and I've read a bit more, it's clear there were a few other films that I should have included, because even though the actors may have different names, they aren't playing other characters. Or maybe they are. It really, truly does not matter. If I had to do it again, which I absolutely will not be doing, I would also include Pajama Party, Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, and The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. I'm glad I didn't, because I fear that may have led me deeper into a spiraling rabbit hole of whys, like, why is the mermaid named Lorelei? Why isn't Annette able to just say pajama party and a horde of cute girls in pajamas appear? Why don't I have that power? Why bother to explain that Don Rickles changed his name from Jack Fanny to Big Drag? Why is everyone so white? Actually, I already know the answer to that one. Why are the teenage motorcycle hooligans all played by men in their 40s? Why does Pee Wee Herman's surfboard have bicycle handlebars? Why is the surfing monkey also the valet? Why does Don Rickles' break character have an extended session of roasting the actors themselves? For the love of fuck, why is Buster Keaton in these movies? The man is an icon, a legend of silent films. So anyway, yeah, these movies aren't very good and I don't recommend watching them. Of course, I'm not the target audience for these films. I'm a 21st century queer millennial, not a 19-year-old white idle middle American in the early 60s, blissfully unaware of the shit show the coming years will heap upon me.
There's nothing like the beach early in the morning. So quiet and peaceful, mysterious.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
It's Charlie's Point.
Charlie, don't surf!
Not the kind of beach they dreamed of.
They choppered in the T-bones and the beer and turned the LZ into a beach party.
Before we get to our Battlefield ratings, I want to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Dane Cook's entire career. Brought to you by this guy.
You're putting me on. You're not a surfer anymore. You live in Ohio. You sell Fords. What are you gonna ride? A Mustang?
Films and series here in the franchise wars are rated on 6 subjects across 2 categories, quality and zeitgeist. Ratings are on a scale of 1 to 10 from hated it to loved it. Up first in the quality category, we have individual quality, a weighted average of each film in the series. These movies express at best basic competence in any of the things one might expect when it comes to the art and skill of filmcraft, and even that deteriorates with each film, 3 out of 10. Next, we have series viewing enjoyment. How much fun was it to watch as a whole? The movies may only be 90 minutes each, but they're an absolute slog to get through. Each one offers a barrage of inane nonsense, but with the exception of the last film, they never offer any kind of growth or evolution. 3 out of 10. Finally, we have rewatchability. No, never. 2 out of 10. Up next is the zeitgeist category, where we start with longevity. American International released 10 films in the span of just over 2 years, completely devaluing a score that would usually be higher for a franchise with this many entries. A single pseudo-sequel released 25 years later doesn't save it. 2 out of 10. In the brand recognition area, we have a little difficulty in scoring. The average person may not know the series even exists, but just about every movie fan knows the genre they created extremely well. These movies aren't only the origin of the beach party movie, but the teen sex comedy genre in general, and for that reason, this category gets a 5 out of 10. Last, we have Star Starter. Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon became household names for decades, but never really went on to bigger careers. Though Funicello was already well known for her earlier time with Disney, including a stint as a Musketeer. Every other actor that had a wider, well-known career outside these films were people who already had careers going into them. Still, I give this a 5 out of 10. This gives the franchise an 8 out of 30 in quality and 12 out of 30 in zeitgeist for a combined score of 20 out of 60. And now we have deductions for the cardinal sins of franchise filmmaking. The 4 Res: reboot, rehash, retcon, and remake. Beach Party avoids the reboot and remake. In rehash, the films don't make a cookie-cutter rehash, but at the same time they pile on the same kind of inane bullshit, so I give them half the normal deduction. The films never retcon old stories or elements, but they also offer up virtually no consistency and even recast the same actors in different roles, so I again give them half the normal deduction. With all elements tallied up, Beach Party kicks off the franchise wars with a whopping 18 out of 60. Maybe the exception of the first one, and possibly the last one, and then only for Pee Wee Herman's cameo, I do not recommend watching any of these films. That was a rough one. I suspect Beach Party will fall off the chart very quickly once the franchise wars really get underway, and will probably remain near the bottom. What do you think? Have you seen these? Grieve for your sanity if you have. Let me know. Now, let's see what's up next in franchise wars. Shaft. Well, at least I don't have to worry about everybody being white this time. Thanks for stopping by for the carnage. I wish I could say it was fun. Don't forget to stick around for the obligatory go-go dancing end credits. I'll see you next time.